use blacksmithing, clothing, and woodworker in the same times, and that will be interesting. It encourage again players to play the game, to craft better, and
I was collecting this stone tooth mystery meat as part of the New Life Festival, and I was thinking it's not really that much of a mystery, is it? I just killed a wolf to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wolf meat. It's not a mystery. Anyway, sorry.
Yes, which is going to be amazing. I'm genuinely looking forward to us going in there as a group, 12-man group, doing the raids. I think we're going to be testing it on PTS as well, getting some new gear, and also, you know,
our third competition time.
Awesome.
In honour of all of the new monster helms, the words are going to be "I like hats." You have the opportunity to win 20,000 gold if you're watching this live.
We haven't won it once. Not once. Not a cent. Nothing.
well,
People pay me not to back on horses that they're fancying for a race. Because if I put money on them,
yeah, it's not going to win.
they run in the opposite direction. So it was a request a while ago for us to wear silly hats. So it's official.
that's a chapka.
Official.
Official name.
A hat. Yeah. I haven't got a dead cat on my head. It's definitely a hat.
Hello everyone! Hi YouTube! Hi chat room! Welcome on the Alith-Cast. I'm Elloa and I'm presenting this show together with Cyretti. Hi Cyretti.
Hello.
And we have a new caster today, which is Teddy. Hello Teddy.
Hello.
And then we
On a
have
more serious note, though, hello.
And Nicky is joining us again today. It should be the last week, but today he replaced our guest that unfortunately is not here. So let's have fun today. But first thing first, I would like to introduce you, Teddy, and ask him some questions. So Teddy, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Well, all right then. Hi, you will know me here as Teddy, which is the most common nickname I have received in my life. I am a member of the Alith free company on Final Fantasy XIV, and on Final Fantasy XIV, you probably know me better as Don or Don Tia, who's Mikore. I am 25 years old. I'm a Swede, and I hope I can make everybody proud of my presence here.
Okay. Since how you have played Final Fantasy?
Sorry, come again?
Yeah, when did you start to play Final Fantasy XIV?
Oh, when did I start? I started at the later half of Heavensward. I joined like shortly before they began the changes for Bard to make it into an archer class and not a caster class. Thank goodness for that. that's when I started. I can't remember the actual date. I'm trying to remember. And at the time, I didn't actually have Heavensward because I bought... No, sorry. At the time, I had Heavensward, but still hadn't reached it, of course. I just began. But it was kind of silly because I bought Heavensward, then realized I hadn't bought the base game.
Oh. Yeah.
And had to buy the base game. And I didn't realize this until I actually contacted Square Enix and asked, hi, my code for some reason isn't working. And they looked into the code and said, oh, it's because it's the code for the expansion. Oh dear, I thought. Now that's going to cause a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, it's weird because usually when you buy the expansion, it comes with the base game, or at least nowadays that's how it happened. So that must have been a little bit embarrassing.
Yes, and it did explain why the what I thought was a bundle was so cheap, because it wasn't a bundle; it was just one game.
Yeah, of course. There you go. And what do you enjoy the most in the game?
Oh, what do I enjoy most in the game? Well, I enjoy most the Alith community and its wonderful members. And if I do a little less kiss ass, I do enjoy the atmosphere. I love the atmosphere. I love the music. I love the views. I love very much the world. Is probably my favorite aspect of the entire thing. I've always very much enjoyed Final Fantasy as a series, and I've always been very impressed with the worlds and the stories that Square Enix often create, for better or for worse. But this one's really caught me on. I adore the forests of Gridania. I love the Black Shrouds so much. It's one of the first places I began in, and it's probably what kept me going up until 30. Just because how much fun it was running around and discovering the forest. I adore the music in Limsa Lominsa, and still to this date, the theme Solid, the main theme for Ishgard, is the best city theme, one of the best theme in the game to this day. It's just everything about it is so right.
Oh, that's great. And when did you join Alith?
I joined Alith. I joined Alith, I think, like shortly before they dropped Stormblood. I've been running alone for a very long time, seeing like Free Company ads in the chat, and I've always been thinking like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, I don't know if I dare. And then one day Alith popped up, and I can't remember, I think it might have been, I think they're not actually playing anymore, I'm afraid. It might have, or it might have straight up been Bell directly, actually. I can't actually remember. But I remember I saw the thing in the chat and thought, I might as well check out their site. And I went to the webpage, read up, and said, there is a saying, and it's bravely dare half a victory is a rough translation of it. So I did that. I bravely dared and won half a victory, and then I won a whole victory when I suddenly got an email saying, "Hi, you're in."
Oh, nice. Well, that's really good. So today, the show that we will be talking about, the subject we will be talking about in this show is the dungeons, but most particularly the new Palace of the Dead like Heavens on High that will be released with the patch 4.35. And we have Cyretti, which is quite excited about that. So Cyretti, can you tell a little bit about this and why are you excited about it?
Well, I'm mainly excited about it because I really liked the original Palace of the Dead, so I'm really looking forward to the continuation for a lot of reasons. But to talk about Heaven on High, we probably need to talk about the current palace first. For those of you who don't know what is the Palace of the Dead is a dungeon in the Shroud at the moment. The thing that differentiates it from most of the current other dungeons is that it is a random layout every time you go in. It's at sets of 10 floors, and at the end of each 10 floors, there will be a boss. The floors can have different modifiers and stuff, and it has an independent level system from the world outside. So it's really a piece of content that does not fit in with all the other things that you can do in FF. You can't really compare it with anything else. So it's really nice that they finally added something else in that particular part of Palace. It's also fun because like the first set of floors, 1 to 100, those are pretty accessible, but from 100 onward, stuff starts getting more difficult until you reach like 180 and stuff becomes really difficult, and you need to be careful and more methodical than most people are in dungeons in Final Fantasy. So it really adds another strategic layer to the gameplay as well. You won't see in a lot of other dungeons that just have a basic strategy you will have to adhere to. From what has been released about Heaven on High till now, it will be pretty similar from what I've seen at least, except that the first 30 floors will be the same as the first 100 floors, and the last 70 floors will be the same as the second set of 100 till 200. So we'll be getting into the harder content much quicker this time around, which really excites me. And yeah, of course, there's still a lot of stuff that has to be released about it, but they're also going to add new stuff about possibly summoning primals and new dungeon modifiers and everything. Just completely revamping the subject. And yeah, I'm really excited about all that kind of stuff.
Nicky, this is one of the activities that you kind of enjoy, Palace of the Dead.
Yeah, definitely. It's something we haven't done too much of. We've done it a couple of times, and it's a lot of fun, especially in like a nice kind of chill, casual group. I mean, we never really got too far. I don't think we ever made it past 450, because by the time we always started it with new groups. So by the time we got to like the level 40, it was kind of time to stop for the day, and then next time we come back, we'd have to start from scratch again. With the brand new group, but it's definitely something I'd like, and it'd be nice to get like a little static group of people to do that with, I think. But yeah, definitely, it's a lot of fun, and it's another option to level alts as well, which is something that I would appreciate because not alts, sorry, other jobs.
Yeah, totally. One of the things that we can say that was a little bit annoying with this system is the fact that you had only 2 parties that you could save, and a little bit more flexibility will make the fact that you jump in more easily, because you could have 2 different parties with friends and then maybe access to the dungeon finder. But at the moment, when you want to just go into the duty finder and be matched with other players, you still need to have a party that is free. And I think that's a little bit restrictive. So I suppose it is a question of performance and data, etc., like everything in Final Fantasy XIV. But to have more slots, to have more party will be really beneficial. I hope they will add something like that.
Something I would really like that they should add is the ability to change, because the current Palace of the Dead has sort of this problem that if you have like if you choose to go in with like a static group, with like a pre-made group, then that save is only for that pre-made group. You can't switch it to like into a match group with randoms, which is kind of rather annoying, because if I'm playing like with a friend or two, running through that in with just a pre-made group, and then on a day want to run that content but with the same job, but my friends aren't online or available, I can't just switch on to going, okay, match me up with randoms. And I would really like if you could do that.
Well, I think the way it's currently done is mainly because from 100 onwards, the palace is actually locked to static groups. It's not meant to be done with a free party anymore. You're supposed to go in with a full pre-made party, and that's half of the content. So I think they made it like that simply because the higher floors require you to go in with a static party, and they don't really want people changing their classes and stuff in the higher dungeon. You kind of need to dedicate.
Yeah, and I can understand. I can understand like locking the classes. Absolutely, it's the whole that you can't take that same class that you used as a static and then switch into a matched party instead.
Yeah, I think it should. Well, I don't know. This is one of the things in Final Fantasy that I don't like so much. It's the way they organize the system. I find it very complex and weird to me instead of being simple and very open. But I would like simply that you have the static. You have 1, 2, or 3 slots. More the better. And then the matchmaker completely separate, completely independent, a different system. So it doesn't matter how much party you have saved on one side, you can jump in, whatever. Yeah,
it would be nice, but I can understand that they lock the pubs in the later sections, because once you die, once you're past floor 100, it's over. You have to completely restart all your progress. You just need to delete your save game. And I can understand that there would be a lot of frustration if you join a group with randoms and someone throws the fight. Because there are certain wipe mechanics in the higher floors. Like if you can't finish a certain regular floor mob within a certain amount of time, they will just do a massive AoE that will kill the entire party. And if you wipe at floor 180 because a random person did something, I can understand that there would be a lot of salty people there, because that's hours of progress that you just completely lose. It's not like you can start again like you can do in the lower floors. So they need to be pretty careful with what they do with pubs there. So.
Yeah, that's fair. If you didn't have to like restart from the beginning, they could probably be more flexible. So I can absolutely understand that. It's probably one of the most frustrating thing when people, especially when people actually get mad at something or other, because it can be the smallest little thing and just decide to ruin it for everyone. And if you actually have to like restart from the very beginning, yeah, that becomes pretty abusive pretty quickly.
It's even really frustrating if you go in with a fixed party and something goes wrong and you die. For example, during the 190 boss fight, I did a mechanic wrong, which caused us to wipe, and I felt guilty for days afterwards because we lost like 3 weeks of progress of doing that dungeon 2 times every week, like for several hours to get there. And then I hit the bomb in the wrong spot. The boss wasn't hit, the boss wiped us. And that would be, I think, almost... I can't even imagine how horrible that would be if you would do that kind of stuff with randoms.
Yeah, no, that's
fair. That would be careful
awful.
About that.
That would be really awful.
And that's a little bit the reason why Nicky and myself has never managed to kill the level 50, right, Nicky?
Yeah, exactly. Because we've always kind of had to reset on it. But what was their? Have they expanded on their reasoning for making it so unforgiving in that regard?
Well, like the first 100 floors are meant to be the more casual 4-player content, and the later set of floors are actually meant because they don't have extreme or savage 4-person content. I think they kind of wanted to provide a challenge for the people who don't want to raid, but still want to do challenging content in a smaller group. That those people can try to get to 200 in Palace, because the later floors are actually pretty challenging.
Yeah, that sort of makes the experience distribution. That sort of explains it, because people have discovered that apparently you gain more experience for like floor 1 to 10 and for 51 to 60.
Yeah.
Those net you more XP, so those are better for you if you're leveling. But if you want to do the hardcore stuff and like actually go through for the extra like what is it? The what's it called? Those little extra chests that are hidden.
the cursed hordes with the
Yeah,
later floors
exactly.
of the silver and the gold trimmed sacks.
Yeah, but because you don't get gold until like after
150.
It's after 150. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's definitely more like, oh, you want the extra cool stuff? Well, let's put in a little more effort then.
Yeah, in those things you can find items that are the value of those things on the market bar is crazy. The mount that drops from 150 onward can go from 22 to 30 mil on our servers, so it's a really valuable item.
Are any of them useful, or are they just cosmetic? Generally?
Most of them are cosmetics.
But like it's the fancier cosmetic stuff. It's the crafted weapons from the primals with the special glowy effects, and currently they have the raid gear from Bahamut. No, not the calls. Yeah, the raid gear from the calls of Bahamut in there. If I'm not mistaken. Like
Oh, really?
I think it's from there. I'm not sure anymore.
Well,
it's how it's called. The elegant gear and the high elegant gear and the tier above that, those are in the sacks as well.
Okay. Well, it's like they say, glamour is the true endgame of Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah. Indeed it is. So what we can expect, do you think, in terms of decorum? Because this is one of the things that I really enjoy in Palace of the Dead personally. It's the fact that it's random, so it's always different a little bit. You do not know which kind of monster you will have, etc. But you arrived in the Palace of the Dead at a point where it was always the same and always looking the same. So they have not really shown so much image beside the first level, I guess. That's really look like a classical Japanese dojo. What do you think we will have on top of this tower? Will it be very different, or will it stay very similar?
Well, the thing with Palace is like the first floors are pretty the same, and like 50 to 80 is you'll never see something that's not caverns, but there are quite a lot of tile sets in Palace. The shame is that a lot of people don't see those. My favorite set is from 160 onwards, when you start getting into open caves with snow falling through the sky and everything. It's completely different from the original Palace. So I think, because from what I've seen till now, they do want to get like the experience of the entire Palace in 100 floors. So I think there will be more changes in the tile sets than we have, at least quicker changes in the tile set with every fewer floors. And even still, I prefer the current aesthetic of the new Heaven on High much more than the original Palace. I rather walk through a Japanese-style tower than through a moldy old cavern.
Do you think we might see some like new unique monsters or something like that? Because in Palace of the Dead, most monsters you could find there were just monsters from other places with different names.
There wasn't a single. I mean, I think maybe no. I don't even think that the bosses are unique. I
think the Dullahan is unique, but he's essentially just a remodeled Odin, though.
There are two unique bosses to Palace that are essential to the story. I'm not going to spoil that, but there are two of them. So those are unique. Probably Heaven on High will have like probably another couple of unique bosses, which will be bodies after we're done with them. But I don't know if they'll put in unique enemies. It's from what we've seen from content, they just recycle some of the mobs we find in the open world.
I think they will do this. I think they will do the same. Maybe the boss will be a little bit different, but the mobs, I don't think we can expect to have new ones. Hopefully, it will be mostly some that we have met in Stormbloods. So it will probably be that kind of mobs. We will have this jelly head with the tongue full of spike. Just walking head.
And the little Buddha head things.
Yeah. Maybe some Namazu. Oh.
Well,
Namazu will never be enemies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I hope they put in some new stuff in there, but from what we've seen, we can't really tell. I think they will at least do some new stuff with the thing about the summoning primals and the pomanders and stuff they have said that were going to be added, but there's almost no information about that. I'm just really curious about it, so...
Yeah, it would be nice to have more information about it for sure. But now it is time to make our first contest. So we have 3 contests that will be go through the podcast. The first one will be 1 million gil. Is it right? I'm not mistaken. 1 million gil for a Cerberus player. So yes, Belazarus is confirming. It's 1 million gil. I would not want to be, punished because or blamed because I'm promising to big giveaways.
The prize will be 100 million gil.
No. So 1 million gil. And for that, you need to answer the correct response in the chat, and that will be the keyword. So we do that every Alith-Cast. We have 3 giveaway. The first one being 1 million gil offered to a player of Cerberus. So listen carefully to the question and find the answer. So the question is, or the clue is, I am tall. I am bulky. My skin is blue or green. What race am I? I am tall. I am bulky. My skin can be blue or green. What race am I? So if you type the correct answer in the chat, you may have 1 million gil in your pocket. And what shall you do with 1 million gil? Nicky, what will you do with 1 million gil?
I'll waste it on pets. No, no, I'd waste it on, I don't know, leveling up a crafting job or something so I can get my Namazu, I'd get materials or something.
Good. And you, Cyretti, what will you do?
Probably save it. I'm currently just hoarding my money in case there's ever something I really want to have.
Okay, I see. And you, Teddy, what will you like to do?
Well, the wise thing would be to save it, but knowing me, I am going to burn it all fast as all hell on all sorts of dumb cosmetics that I'm going to use vigorously.
Oh, nice. You're into cosmetic stuff?
I love the cosmetic, partially because I love the whole, I love the looks of everything in the game. But yes, I'm very much into cosmetics. I am a avid collector of minions. I very much do enjoy many of the mounts, and you bet your aura that I'm really into the glamour stuff, and I am gathering the stuff I can. I'm doing the old quests. I'm doing 2 of the old what's them called, relic weapon quests from A Realm Reborn, solely because I think they look really cool.
Yeah, I did that with the
and
Happy
it's
Bird
a
relic.
pain in the ass, but I'm still doing them.
This is good. So this is the proof, this kind of discussion, that the appearance of a character is extremely important for player. And it's not only girls that like good stuff for their character. You see? Some of the prejudice you can have sometimes.
Well, one of the best things that we got in this patch was the bunny suit for males. And
bunny suits?
There is a bunny suit. There is a server bunny suit. You know the bunny suits that the sort of staff at the Golden Saucer has?
Yeah.
Those used to be available for female characters only, but now they are available to all genders. It's in fact so unique in that sense because it's the only gear in the game that has availability everyone. No other gear has that in its description.
Well,
I kind of love how everyone is written in all caps.
No, Elloa do not need a bunny suit, Hamai, thank you. By the way, guys, if you really want to gain those 1 million, you need to type the answer in the chat. Otherwise, you will not be writing down the keyword and you will not be considered into the bots that's making the giveaway. Because it's not us who choose someone, it's the bot that does it. So you need to answer the question correctly in the chat now. You have few seconds to do it. Otherwise, someone between Temenes, Tafeler, and Blanketiet will win something probably, unless the answer was Lalafel. Then it will be just Hamag. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
The answer might be tests, so we could suddenly discover that this stream has won 1 million gil.
1 million gil generously provided to you by Alith-Cast. Okay, I think we can go. Belazarus, please, can you draw the winner? Yeah, exactly. We need some music.
Some sound effects.
Very well.
That probably
Final
just
Fantasy
sounds
victory
awful.
sounds.
That probably sounds just awful. Temenes!
What is your, because I never crossed you in game yet, Steady. What is the character you're playing? What is the race and gender?
I'm playing as my character's name is Don Tia, spelled D''OHN because I am a lord nerd as fuck, and I play a Mikote from the Seekers of the Sun clan, and I'm a Mikote male.
Oh, nice. Well, congratulations to Temenes. You have 1 million gil, and now you can do plenty of stuff. Type in the chat what is your project with this 1 million gil. Shall you buy a new mount, new stuff for your house, some new outfit in the market board, or shall you give it generously to your friends? Congratulations. Anyway, so let's be serious again and continue our discussion about dungeon. So we have, of course, the Palace of the Dead and Heavens on High that will be released very soon, probably around the 3 July. We still need to have more information about it, but it will be fun when it will be released. But what about all the other dungeons in the game? What do you think about them? Let's do a little round table. Teddy, let's start with you.
What do I think? The dungeons are sort of hit and miss in many cases, with more hits than misses, I dare to say. I also think that one of the sort of sad things is that there is a ton of lore in them. I think it was like last week or something like that. No, it was probably further than that. That I learned how the dark history behind Sastasha, which is the first dungeon, and how sort of brutal it was. With that, I discovered there is a little section that no one ever goes off to, but I went off to that because I discovered I didn't have the achievement that you map out all of Sastasha. Because there was one part I hadn't done, and that was the hole. The hole, which is a prison cell filled with kidnapped ladies.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Sastasha is a dark place. And then just 4 days ago, I played through Sastasha hard mode, and I read the text that the character says for the first time, and I realized, oh dear, I suddenly realized who all the bosses were and why they looked so messed up.
Okay, I'm curious now. Can you tell us a little bit?
because Sastasha Hard you play through towards the build-up of unlocking Leviathan.
Mm-hmm.
And one of I think it's the second boss you discover is actually the boss from the first version of Sastasha. It's the old pirate.
Yeah.
And as you reach the last boss in first Sastasha, his head gets cut off. I can't remember what they are now. The fish people.
Swaga.
Thank you. The Swagan. It just cuts, just chops his head off, and he returns as a slave of Leviathan with his head replaced with a squid. And I didn't realize that was him until the parrot flew up to him and started naming him, and how when you start the fight, he says, I think it's something like, move it, you scallywags, or we will all be punched by Lord Leviathan. And at that point, I sort of realized, oh, the Kraken is also like some sort of follower of the primal Leviathan. and this place just suddenly turned so much darker, and I realized, oh god, all these people are pirates that we fought earlier, like at the start of the game, that has now been transformed into this like Cthulhu cult, all worshipping Leviathan. And it puts Leviathan in a whole new light for me, and I realized just how evil that one is. Like, we meet the primals, and they can be rather cruel, but most of them are just like following some sort of nature. Ifrit is very much a almost king-like person, treating himself like a bit of a lord and reacting aggressively because, well, he's fire. Titan is a guardian. He cares for the kobolds. He fights us because he thinks we are attacking the kobolds. Garuda's just crazy because it's Garuda. She's the wind. She's wild, uncontrollable, without rhyme or reason. But Leviathan is straight up manipulative, likes to torture people, and straight up evil. And it puts the entire game in such a new light, because it's also happy-go-lucky, and then suddenly, oh dear God, why?
It's interesting, because this is not something I had to really pay attention so much. When you go in the dungeon, beside the main story, you go through that it's obvious in your face. You don't really always pay attention so much to all those little details that give you this kind of clue indeed. And I think the lore is very deep and very complex as well in Final Fantasy. It's a nice way to get it more and reveal it more.
Yeah, and like, for example, there are like many dungeons which have small notes or small letters in them. How many of you have actually read those?
I didn't.
A lot of them.
I must confess, I must have not done that very, very often. Even too, I am quite relaxed and laid back when I do dungeon. I'm focusing more on the fight. Nicky, tell you what you think of the dungeon. What is the aspect that you prefer in them?
Okay, so as you all know, I am not a lore expert, so I'm not gonna comment on that. You know, the story.
That's fine. We can't all be lore elitists, yeah.
My only I'm no expert on them either. But what I would say is that one thing I do appreciate about them is they're all very different aesthetically. I mean, there's nothing worse for somebody like me, at least, who doesn't like a grind. There's nothing worse than kind of having to do the same thing over and over again for me. So the fact that all the dungeons are different, aesthetically speaking, and have different enemies, and feel like very different encounters, I really appreciate. However, I do have one complaint about them, and it's not the dungeons themselves. It's more the system the Final Fantasy uses. I understand why they do it, but I'm not convinced that it was the best option. And what I'm referring to is the automatic de-leveling of characters. It's boring to go back in a dungeon with 3 spells. And I think there are better options than what they did there.
Yeah, I very much agree with you on that point. This is something I very often complain about, that when you go back in Satasha, the first one, I like it. Aesthetically, I find it a very beautiful dungeon. It was really the first thing when I played Final Fantasy that kind of intrigued me, because when I started Final Fantasy, I was not really hooked into the game. But Satasha had a nice impact on me. I find it a very beautiful dungeon. But when you go back to it and you're like, oh no, I'm an astrologian and I'm in Satasha, I have just one spell.
Yeah,
I don't have my card.
I'd prefer, rather than them just disabling all your spells, I'd prefer if they just scaled you down. So, you still had all your abilities and spells, but they did far less damage or far less heals or, whatever. You had far less health, etc. as well. Rather than you going back to, that's not fun. The bit where you've just started the game, you've got 2 spells, it's kind of boring. You work your ass off leveling up to max level, getting all your gear, and then bam, you go do a roulette, you're back down to noob level again. It's not what I would have done.
No.
That's my own comment.
No, it's true, but I guess they did that specifically so you cannot use certain abilities that are more giving you an advantage in certain encounter. Like you will have a dispel, or you will have a knockback. I don't know. I'm figuring things out that make the encounter a lot easier because you have access to that spell, or massive AoE that even so they are diminished in quality, they make the fight a lot easier. They want to preserve this first experience for new players, so you cannot cheat in any way. You cannot carry new players in any sort of way.
Actually, you have actually access to both silence and stuns, because you do keep your what's it called, your role actions. And the only shame is that you're absolutely correct in that most of those are semi-useless, because most stuff in the earlier dungeons can't be silenced, and stuns does not really matter that much when you run it for like a second time in a leveling dungeon, because you're probably gonna steamroll everything anyway.
Yeah, you're probably right, Elloa, in what you're saying, in that they didn't want to give you access to abilities that they feel would compromise the encounter too much. And I'm not saying you're wrong there. That's probably the reason. I'm just saying that I wish they would have come up with a better solution. I don't know what that solution would be. I'm not a game designer, but I just wish there was a better way.
And you, Cyretti, what is your favorite dungeon in the game?
Well, my favorite dungeon at the moment is the Swallow's Compass, the latest added dungeon.
Oh,
but
yeah,
that's
beautiful.
That's because it's way more beautiful than the early game dungeons, because it's in an extra expansion. They put a lot of work into it, but it's mainly the soundtrack for me. I really love the soundtrack, and I also love the bosses, because I'm really a sucker for real world mythology. So when Son Wukong showed up for the final boss fight, I was like, whoa. It was really nice.
It's also outside, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It starts inside and you go outside of the mountain.
Oh, that's so cool. They really need to make more dungeons that's on the outside.
Yeah, it's generally my favorite dungeon in any game. I really love, because it gives you a real feeling of adventure. But what I really appreciate in that dungeon in particular was the fact that you start and it's inside. And I really thought, because they didn't reveal any screenshot or anything, so I was like, okay, we will be in a dojo. And I was expecting in a dojo, and then you go under this tunnel out of glass under the water, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. I love this, because I really like aquamarine environment. And then you exit that and you go on top of the mountain. So
in general, I'm just really happy with all the dungeons aesthetically in Stormblood. I'm not a big fan of the stuff they did in Heavensward. There's almost a lot of those dungeons were just, you're inside somewhere, do some stuff, except for some of the story dungeons. But I like the design in Stormblood way better on average.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and the
kinda
story.
agree.
Sorry, it's the story dungeons in Heaven's Ward also had this problem that even if you weren't inside, it was still like, oh, it's another building. You really
Yeah.
didn't have much else than here's some ruins.
And most of them also had a dark, moody atmosphere, in my opinion. While some of the Stormblood dungeons, like for example Swallow's Compass or what's the one called? Hell's Lid and stuff. They really can give you a sense of adventure when you go into a new area and you're like, whoa, where am I now? Like the dungeons in Heavensward don't really have that.
It's kind of funny because that shows you sort of the what's it called, the sort of difference between more like Northern European mythology and Eastern and Asian mythology, in that sense, because of how much they dare to be so much more colorful. And as you say, the whole sort of sad, dour tone throughout all of Heavensward. It's the Heavensward theme, really. Just everything is bad, everything is dark, the snow will never end. And then we suddenly enter Stormblood, and it's all happy-go-lucky, and we might actually be allowed to have some fun now. And as you say, that really shows in their dungeons. I really understand why you like them.
There's some very cool dungeon in Heavensward too. You have the one with the Nicky, how they are called? Those guys, the big bird.
Oh yeah, the ones who do the funny dancing when you're fighting them. Vanu Vanu.
Yeah, the Vanu Vanu. You have the Vanu Vanu dungeon, which is super cool. It's one of my favorite. Then you have the one which is gorgeous,
But
where
those
you
are
face the
optional
dragon.
dungeons, right?
Wait, which
That's
one
an
is the
optional one.
Vanu Vanu dungeon?
Yeah, you have a lot of different. It's happen in the
Don't
Infinite
you fight a
Sky?
Moogle in that one as well?
That I don't remember, but it's so beautiful. You need to jump through some sort of tornadoes in different platforms that are floating in the sky.
I know which
Oh
one
yeah,
you mean.
those are post game, but those are the post game dungeons, right?
I've done that dungeon twice.
Those are you don't run a Vanu Vanu dungeon during the main story.
Yeah, it's an optional one.
And I it's a great thing that you point that out, because that's another example of like how I love how they make the dungeons flow with the game's sort of story progression. Because as you say, it's a really nice and beautiful dungeon because you are very up high and it's very naturey and it's very bright and shiny and all that, and it's outside also, which instantly makes it a plus in my book. But it's also sort of after the main Heavensward story when everything is so dark and bad, and now that's done and we can suddenly have positive again.
Yeah. I also have this garden with the big dragon in the end. It's very yellow at the end. I don't really remember the name anymore. It's a trial that you need to face this dragon and fight him in the story, so it will help you.
Oh yeah. That's one of the nicer story dungeons.
Yeah.
I know which one you mean. Yeah.
And then you have
I think you fight
the
a Moogle
library.
in that one. You fight a Moogle in that one.
I do not remember that one.
That one you have
It's
to
one
face
of the bosses.
Yes, you have to face the King Mogul. That's true.
Because he guards the dragon. He's the dragon.
Oh,
dragon
okay.
guardian.
Oh. I don't remember that one. I feel like I should, because you actually. I might be mixing it together with like Good King Moogle, but
no, it's not Moogle Mob. It's the Sky Moogles.
I think I have to look for that one now because I do not remember that. But that sounds wonderful.
It's the fat Moogle in the center of the Moogle B stripes. It's that one you fight.
Yeah. I know which one you mean. Oh my god. I need to rerun that one now just because of that, because that sounds wonderful. Thank you for bringing that one up, Elloa. That's great.
Yeah, that dungeon never comes up in roulettes.
That's maybe.
Yeah, there are a lot of dungeons that never shows up in the roulette.
That's true. It's always the same that you find. The Antitour and the Arboretum, say Hort High Wind. Yeah, and I agree with that. They are very beautiful as well. The Antitour.
I'm sick of the Arboretum. I've run that so much for my glamour. My base glamour is
I did it 2
just from
times, I
that one.
think. Not much, not enough. I think it's time to do another giveaway, and this giveaway will be open to everyone. So that means that even if you're not playing on Cerberus, even if you're not playing on Chaos Data Center, you will have the chance to win it because it's an emote, and it's an emote offered by Belazarus and Alith-Cast. So I will just check if Bell is ready. Did he? Because if he's AFK, then I cannot do the thing, and so no, he's ready. So I'm allowed to do. Listen carefully for the clue. I will say a clue, and you need to find a word, and the word will be the keywords. So let's start. I am strong, and I wield an axe. I'm a class. Which one?
Oh, come now. That second one made it a little bit too easy.
I was not inspired to make it complex. I'm sorry.
I'm the one class that uses axes.
Guess 3 times.
I wonder what it is.
And it's now when we reveal plot twist.
Well,
that was a trick question. The answer is actually Dark Knight. Oh, that's true. That's true.
That's
someone actually, Hot
the
Highwind
second one.
actually presents something. That's right.
It can be that one as well, yeah.
It could also be.
Which one it is now?
I mean, it could be Archer. Just saying.
An archer that shoots axes.
Oh wait, no, that's Guild Wars 2. I wish I was joking. That is one of the most effective combinations in Guild Wars 2 apparently for ranges, and I hate it because it's so bad.
So guys, the reward to answer this very difficult question is an emote Mega Flare. So be sure to type the right answer, and you have like 1 or 2 minutes to do it. So hurry up if you want to have this beautiful emote. And if you have it already and you win, you can offer it to a friend. So it's always cool, you know. Or if you're a streamer, you can offer it as a giveaway to stream.
It's a second-hand giveaway.
Or you can give it to me because I don't think I have that one.
It's an awesome emote.
Maybe I have. Nikki, which one? We had one.
I'm fine with that as well.
We don't have that one. Yeah, we don't. You can offer to
We should enter the competition as well.
Yes. No, we can't. We shouldn't be allowed to cheat. Well, that depends. If it was made by Bell instead, maybe. If he made it separately from the rest of us.
I wouldn't
But
mind
it would still feel a little bit like cheating. It would still feel a little cheating.
Maybe there should be a special contest for the staff of the Alith-Cast.
Oh. At some sort of celebration, or some sort of it's our 100th episode. We shall have a contest specifically for us, and you all get to watch us.
Well,
so
100
that's allowing me. I'm jumping here in the discussion to ask you, Teddy, what is the class that you're playing actually? Maining.
Oh, currently I'm maining actually Machinist. Though I might switch quickly until I get sort of out of the ending, because I'm sort of still. I have a little bit left of Heaven's Ward, so I'm still not entirely into Stormblood yet, which means that Machinist is sort of hell on earth to try and play any serious content with, because we have no means of controlling our heat. So it's very much, I suddenly hit wildfire, and not wildfire, I suddenly hit overheat, and I have no access to my wildfire, so I don't have any of my big damage dealing abilities. So I've also leveled a warrior for the sake of having something else to do. And I'm sort of picking up a few here and there. I'm kind of those guys who who has a hard time deciding something at first glance. Very hard. So I like trying out a lot of classes, a lot of professions, a lot of things here and there. And 14 provided me with some of the best ways to do that, because I can do it all on one character instead of making 187,000 alts that I can test things on. So that was very nice. So that's another point in the book.
Yeah, Nicky, you have played a little bit the Machinist as well. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's the difficulty I think I have with starting a new character is they're not really fun for me, at least in my perspective, until you get them higher level. So for me, it's struggling to stick with them to get them high enough level for me to have fun, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know. There's something about the low-level characters in Final Fantasy. They're not bad, but I don't feel satisfied. Like if I'm when I'm doing my pew-pews with a gun, it doesn't satisfy me at the level I'm at right now. So I would like to finish leveling it, but I'm struggling to motivate myself to do it right now.
I've heard from many that thing, like, oh, I've now reached late level with a class and I have a hard time motivating myself to level the other ones. I wonder, it could be that it's not as shiny, because they really up the ante the higher level you get.
I will interrupt you just a second, because I would like to remind people in the chat, especially the newcomer that just joined the podcast, that we are currently running a giveaway for the emote Mega Flare. And if you want to win it, if you want a chance to win it, you need to type the answer to this very complex clue. I am strong, I will the axe, and I'm a class. Who I am.
But no, just to answer your question, no, that was the point I was making, is that as you get higher level, the classes become inherently more fun. That's the point I'm making, but you have to get there first.
Yeah, exactly. I completely understand that very much, which I can imagine also. Now I also very much understand then why going back to the old dungeons is suddenly a lot more boring.
Yeah.
And that makes very much sense.
Yeah, it's just, everybody, of course, has their own opinion on these matters. And, mine, I guess, differ from some people's with regards to, like, the story and the lore and that kind of thing. But, yeah, the game has a certain charm to me, but it's not the charm that most people notice, I guess.
To come back on the problem with leveling, I just remembered that might be one of the reasons why a lot of people wanted to level in Palace as well. Because if you reach 50 and you can start the floor at 50, when you go in at 50, you start with a level 60 character. It doesn't matter what your base level is. In Palace, you'll be level 60. And if the new one is going to do something similar to that, then you can start at level 70. You'll have all your skills. So you can use the skills between 60 and 70 as well. So you don't have to go through the process of unlocking every skill, and you can play the class as it's actually intended to be played. That's true. One of the big advantages of Bellas, in my opinion.
Something I'm wondering about that is that to be able to go into this Heavens on High, you need to be level 70, right? But
no, I didn't think they say that. You need to be level 60, I think.
Well, 60.
It's from 60 to 70, but I think you need to have like a 70 character to unlock it.
I don't know.
You only need to be 60 to unlock it?
It's not that way in Palace, so I don't think you need to do that.
No, you're right. That's true. What level did you need
I know
to be
people
to
who
unlock
just.
You need to be level 17.
17. Yeah, you need to have the first dungeon unlocked.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So if you do that in this others, I mean that I'm coming with my new bard, and I can jump in and then have already the bard finished it. and have the pleasure of discovering all the skill, which is ideal to know which job you actually want to do.
Except for the fact if you're very low level and you don't have your job unlocked yet, you'll have to play with level 60 variant of your base class. So you can be there as a level 60 thaumaturge and don't have your black mage spells. That's kind of a bummer, but yeah.
That's true.
But it is a good way for people to try out their classes and see if they like them at max level as well.
The thing is that can also apply to Palace of the Dead, because I know for a fact that if you, for example, go in there with like a level 18 and then suddenly hit above level 30, well, you still need to do your class unlocking quest. So if you don't do that, well, now you're stuck with a thaumaturge. Well, you could be a black mage and do all these sort of cool explosions, but you're not, because you're a thaumaturge. Have fun with Fire 1.
Hey, yeah! Taffalair, you have won this new shiny emotes. Congratulations!
Oh.
Wow!
It's the second time.
Yes, you have. It's your day. Today is your day. Amazing.
No, the first
When-
one was won by the Manus, not by...
Yeah, they're different people.
Oh no,
Well,
then.
I actually
Depends if you know them in real life.
are you guys a couple? I suspect
Yes,
they are.
yes, it was 10 minutes. It's just I'm confused with all tea.
I'm very sorry. I know this in real life. It's really funny.
Okay, so congratulations, and I'm sorry to have mistaken you with the other winner.
Sorry,
I
that was
apologize.
mine.
Why I'm
No,
fired?
no, Elloa isn't fired. It's me. That was my fault. I said it was the second time. I misled her. I read the wrong name actually. So that's on me. I will admit.
Oops. Okay. So, well, let's continue with the dungeon discussion. So, let's see. We have seen with all the dungeon that you have so many in A Realm Reborn, and then they add some in each expansion, but it feels like there is less and less. So what do you think of that, guys?
Oh,
I
less.
I think that there isn't as many as there are in A Realm Reborn per expansion, and I think that's not necessarily entirely a bad thing, because on one hand that means they put a lot more. You can tell they put a lot more effort in on the new dungeons, and a prime example is still the compass. Well, I can't remember the full name for it now. Just drawing a blank.
Compass?
Thank you. Yes, that one. With how beautiful that is, and many the Never Reap and all that. So on one hand, I'm okay with them not working in as many for higher quality dungeons, but at the same time, there were a lot less in Stormblood than there were. I mean, Stormblood isn't done yet. We're not done with it. We're still going on in it, so we might get more. But as it is now, there is a lot less in Stormblood than there were in Heavensward. And if they keep doing less and less for higher quality, that's nice and all. But at some point, there might be too few.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I think the dungeon is still the content that most people are doing. You have, of course, the Alliance Red and the trials in the Sigma Scale or the Reds that people are doing, but most of the time it's still dungeon, and it's more fun when you have a lot of variety into them. The fact that they also put so little dungeon into the expert roulette, it's kind of annoying to it would have been nicer to have included some other that you never do. There's a very gorgeous dungeon I did twice only. It's an end game dungeon, but it's not in the expert roulette, so you need to be lucky to have it in the level 70 roulette. I think the way they make the roulette should be more inclusive, so you can really have more variety and more chance to fall and stumble onto a new dungeon that you're not doing very often. Because otherwise you always fall in the same. So, Nicky, what is your favorite dungeon?
Oh, my favorite one. It's the problem with this game, though, is that there's literally so many.
Okay, the one that... How about the one that you hate the least to run?
The one that I hate the least. I don't know. I think there's many that fall into that category for me, though. It's not like like the only ones. It really depends for me. It's not so much that I have a favorite. It really depends for me on how often I've done it, or when was the last time I did it. If the more I do something, the less interesting it becomes for me. At least back to back. At least, so I'd say probably my favorite dungeon is one I haven't done for a while.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you, Teddy, which one is your favorite dungeon?
That is an excellent question. I don't know if I have like a favorite one. Mainly because there is a lot of them I haven't run yet. Is the problem. I'm trying to like remember all the dungeons. I mean, it might be. Oh, what is it called? The one with Fenrir as the final
Snowcloak.
Yes, Snowcloak is probably not my favorite, but it's definitely like up there. I like very much the tone and the music and how you're going through it, and how it sort of starts as you're just walking around in an area that's very cold and has a lot of dangerous animals and creatures, and then suddenly turns into, oh look, here's all these cultists turning into dragons. Okay then. I kind of enjoy that sort of turn of events.
Yeah, I really, really like the music in that dungeon too. And there's an encounter that's very fun. The one with the big snowball that you need to hide to.
Yes,
I really like.
It's really fun how you have to take those little ones, the Spriggans. It always looks so funny to me how they just comes charging in, and then suddenly the winds hit them, and okay, now they're covered in snow. It's kind of comical. It's almost like from a cartoon.
Yeah, I would have hard time to say my favorite dungeon as well. I really like gorgeous dungeon, and I would be very impressed by their look. Like for instance, the dungeon in the water. You have, it's also an optional dungeon in Stormblood. It's absolutely gorgeous because it's in the water. But I really like when a dungeon have very nice mechanics too. And there's bosses that are more fun than other. Like there's that boss that's throw money, which you need to get the little pile of money and such. It's quite fun. Yes, I really like when you have good mechanics in a dungeon. And then there's a dungeon we never do, like the anti-tower. It's ages have never done that. And there's still maybe some we have never done. Nicky, I don't know. Have you noticed that?
No, we've done every single dungeon at least once.
Okay.
But you made a point there. One of the things I do like is mechanics during fights that aren't just your typical dungeon mechanics. I know this is a trial, or a raid, so it's not a perfect example, but like the maths boss like little silly kind of mechanics like that. I really like. They take you out of the fight for a minute, and I find that interesting.
I find it hilarious how many people have difficulty with that because no one reads what the boss is saying.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused with this mechanic boss. But one boss I really like that it's from the new dungeon. It's the turtle boss at the end of the lava dungeon. Then I don't remember any of the name. I'm really bad at that. But you have this dungeon where you start in the lava and then you go inside. It's in the Ruby Sea. And
Hell's Lid, isn't it?
Yes,
that's
Hell's
Lid.
Yeah, and I really like the final boss. I think it's fun. I like his attack, and I like the mechanics of it. That's cool.
Yeah.
So we have a nice answer in the chat, but what is your favorite dungeon of the game? Bardam's Metal? I don't remember that one.
That's the level 65 dungeon in the steppes. It has like a boss, which is a giant statue, which has you do several puzzles. It's not really a fight.
I did only once this dungeon. Oh,
It's
yes, I
a
remember.
really nice looking one.
Yeah,
you
it's
start
true.
in the open plains and you go into that temple, and then you have to fight a boss in the center of the temple. It's
Yes,
also a
and you have
giant
all
rolling
the-
ball you have to
All the
dodge.
flag. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I drew blank there. Now I remember which one. Yeah,
I've only done it once.
I hate that one actually. I'm terribly sorry, but I hate that dungeon specifically because of that boss. Because if you run it with pugs, no one does the mechanics.
I've been pretty lucky with that.
Well, I'm happy. I'm happy you have. Genuinely, that's not even being ironic. I'm so happy because that is hell on earth. I also see hockey, and hockey is really good. I prefer hard better, more than regular though when it comes to hockey mana.
Yeah, maybe because
I've only done hard once, so I can't really remember that one.
The hard one it's the same, but everything is red instead of being blue.
It's a bit of a different puzzle also because the final boss is in the cellar instead of the bedroom. Take that as you wish.
Okay.
Yeah. So next, one of the next episodes, we will be speaking more about all the trials and the island thread, etc. But for now, we really want to stick onto the dungeon and the kind of content you can find in it, and the different paths and what sort of hope we can have for the future. At least for me, I know that one type of dungeon I don't like very much is all the Imperial one, the camp one, where you are in a fortress, Imperial fortress.
The level 50 dungeon, you mean?
No, it's all of them. I don't like this
all of
theme.
them. Oh, yeah.
It annoys me. You have the alarm, and it's just like it's sometimes they are fun and they have good encounter and such, but in general, that theme is annoying me a little bit. It's too much the same colors and stuff. I prefer the other one that are more mysterious, or the ones that are outdoor, like we explained earlier.
My least favorite dungeon is the one where you have to pick up like the Magitech orbs that are floating around everywhere to activate the boss fights. Which one is that? I can't really remember. But if you miss an orb, you have to run back the entire dungeon to go get it.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Even if you've killed all the mobs.
But this is
really
one of the.
annoying
It's Tamtara.
Yeah, it's Tamtara. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the toxic
the first
dungeon.
Tamtara, right?
Yeah, the regular one.
Yeah, because the hard one of Tamtara is
It's much
actually
better.
quite
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Pick up an item, and if you forgot one, you can't continue.
Oh yeah, no, I understand exactly what you mean there. Wow, people actually ignore those.
Well, you sometimes forget one. I forgot
okay.
one. Like you have like 3 out of 4. You don't remember which one you didn't pick up.
Fair
So
enough.
you have to walk back out the entire way to see which ones you didn't pick up. Yeah.
So, guys, it is time to
big
do our
waste time.
last giveaway. Last giveaway, 1 million gil for someone playing on Cerberus. If you don't play on Cerberus, you know which server you need to play on. Come on, we are there. It's fun. It's nice and cozy. Why are you on your other server? So, 1 million gil for someone, and for that, you need to answer a new clue. You know. And I need to make it more difficult this time because I make it too easy for you guys. And 1 million gil, you know, you need to kind of deserve it. So let me see. First of all, I need to see which word I've chosen. Okay. Be ready, guys. I am one of the leader of the tree company. I'm the more fierce, the more brilliant. My motto is freedom, and the color of my flag is red. What is my name? So I repeat, if I remember what I say.
I bet it's.
You cannot
Good
say the answer.
I bet it's Good King Mugamog.
So
I'm
I
having
am.
a bit of connection issues. Everyone's voices are dropping for me at the moment. So I'm going to stay quiet for a while in case I'm...
Oh yes, right. Sorry.
Give me a sec.
Thank you, Blanca. Yes, 1,000 more of Totorak is the one with the little light things. Now I get it. Oh yes, now I understand why people miss them. Yes, someone always forget those.
I
ones
still
with the
do
little-
not know.
It's the one where with you have to pick up tiny lights to like activate small machines, and the later part is you have to walk through a bunch of sludge on the floor.
Yep.
To get further up, and the problem is all these devices requires four of these tiny lights, and you have to go multiple ways to get enough lights, and a lot of people who do this for the first time or something like that, they don't know that. So you all and even veterans sometimes forget. Oh right, you need 4 lights for this. So you end up standing there at the boss without activating the boss, and just having this situation where what have we forgotten? And then you have to run, as Cyretti said, then you have to run back all the way through some other alternative path to get access to another light and come back to activate the boss and then activate the machine so you can continue onwards.
I will confess one thing. It doesn't matter what class I've done. I've done this dungeon 10,000 million of time. I still do not know where they are. I was apparently not the one looking for them. I really need to learn to guide all those dungeons and to be able to find my way into it. So that would be nice after I've played so long and so much.
It's understandable because the second one is worse. Because the first one, you find all the lights sort of hidden out in the dungeon. But as you move towards the second one, you have to gather them from mobs that drops them when they die, when you defeat them. And sometimes people forget to pick them up after you have felled the beast. So you kill it and you move onwards, and then halfway there you realize, right, we didn't pick it up, did we? Whoops. Because it does this little thing where it pops up the message fades in, where it says like the I don't remember what it was called, but the drops a an electrolyte or something like that it's called. And you can miss it. You can miss it super easily if you don't pay attention. So it drops, and then you just run onwards because, well, you're doing this for, as you said, the 10,000th time. Who cares? But you have to.
Cyretti, I saw you. You're trying to cheat and get the million of Jill. You cannot. It's not for you.
Darn it.
It's for our wonderful viewers. It's
Exactly.
Well, they were complaining
incredible
about
watchers.
so few participants.
Oh, but no, there's...
Pishposh. We got
it's
three
better
more
for them. They will have more chance to get all the loot, you know? And maybe, you know, it will incite our viewers that are watching this episode on YouTube to catch us on the lives, you know, on Twitch when we're live. So to do that and to be sure, please follow our Twitch channel. So just join our Twitch, Alith-Cast, and follow us so you will be notified when we go live. It happens every other week. Or you can follow us on Twitter as well as Alith. And we will give you all the indication at the end of this episode. But, you know, more we have people on the Twitch event, more fun it is. So... yes, if you join the contest. So the clue, to repeat the question, because you copy what everyone else is saying, is I am one of the leader of the 3 grand company. I'm fierce, I'm beautiful, I'm brilliant. My motto is freedom, and my flag is red. What is my name? Yes, it's true that for the Jill contest, you need to be on Cerberus, which is obviously the best server. But we also always have one giveaway to offer to anyone, which is an emote or something cute like this. Yep. Yes, you can have 1 million Jill. You need to type the answer to my message. Yep. Exactly. Rodu, get it right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for acknowledging my existence.
Okay, so let's do a last little round to say what will be your dream dungeon. Let's start with Nicky. What will be your dream dungeon?
Oh God. Well, first of all, I'd have to have all my abilities. It's important.
Yeah.
It would be. Okay, you know that dungeon where we have to help... what was that stupid guy? You know the cheese dungeon?
Yeah, yes, with the...
what?
Yes, it's Brave Fox Forest.
Yeah,
Brave Fox Longsword.
Hard,
Yeah,
yes,
Brave
but the
Fox.
hard one.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the hard one. What about you, Teddy?
I would like a proper dungeon based on the Snake Folk. Because they have like dungeons with their sort of theme, but I would like a dungeon that's very much centered around them, because I really like them. I kind of really like them both in concept, but just in general, I really like them.
And what about you, Cyretti?
I'm very glad that I managed to hear the question because my Skype is doing some really weird stuff at the moment.
Okay.
Well, my favorite dungeon.
Your dream dungeon.
Dream dungeon. Yeah, I don't really know. It's probably something the developers will make somewhere in the future.
Nice.
I mean, with the dungeons like Hell's Lit, I didn't like the Fractal Continuum, but stuff like Hell's Lit and Swallow's Compass, I really like dungeons. One thing, a lot of like Mage AoE.
Could you repeat that?
Worry too much.
Is he?
Yeah, I think you're disconnecting a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so.
My Discord is dropping as well. I mean, my Skype.
Yeah,
unfortunately so. I think it's on your end.
Yes,
Also,
it's
we
crazy.
have a winner.
Yes, indeed. Congratulations to Katara Littlefoods. You earn 1 million, Jill.
Nice.
Okay. So
Congratulations.
I let you guys discuss 2 minutes. I just need to drop these things once again.
I like to see more underwater dungeons, honestly, because they've shown the potential of that from the Swallow's Compass and from I can't remember what the optional one was, because I think it's also like I think it's 100% optional, but they really should try and do more with those, because they've shown that they really know how to make those good, because it's so easy that they get boring. It's so easy to just make them, oh, here's another cave with water on the side, yay. But when you make a real proper underwater dungeons, those always look so cool, because you can add all these small details in the background.
I think that my dream dungeon will be one dungeon where you are surprised, exactly like the Swallow Compass, where you start in one area and you are evolving into different landscape all along the dungeons that are breathtaking with gorgeous views, and with bosses with very interesting mechanics. Really like when you have bosses that are different, that's force you to interact with the environment, or it's not just blocking and interrupting, but you need to like this boss in the Vanu Vanu dungeon, where you have to carry those little idol on your head to place them somewhere else, otherwise it will explode, and that kind of things. I really like those kind of mechanics. So everyone, with that being said, it was the end of our episode. We hope to see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you very much to all my co-hosts, Cyretti, Teddy, and Nicky. Thank you so much to have come and to have participated to this show. And thank you very much to everyone that has been watching and participating in the chat room. Thank you, guys. You're very wonderful. Thanks to Belazarus that organize and handle and masterize everything here on the back end. And thank you, you viewers on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching us. Please leave a like and share it all around you, and come to see us live next time. So we will be in 2 weeks probably. You will have on your screen all information related to where to find us, how to follow us. And now let's do a little roundtable where we can follow all our co-hosts. So Cyretti, where can we follow you?
In Final Fantasy, I don't really have anything social media-wise that's worth following. So
okay.
if you want to get in touch with me, you can go to Discord or Final Fantasy.
Okay, that's simple. And you, Teddy, what about you? Do you have a Twitter?
I'm afraid I'm similar. I have no social media of any to speak of, really, at all. Unfortunately. So you can find me in Final Fantasy XIV as Dontia, and on Discord as well as Teddy, actually.
Amazing. And you, what about you, Nicky?
Also not another social media person. High five, everyone.
One of us.
Okay.
Apart from that, you can obviously find me on Elloa's Twitch. We stream there most of the time. That's Elloa Wendy. Discord and Final Fantasy. I won't even bother giving you my name in Final Fantasy. I can't. It's Golai Bora, but you won't know how to spell it anyway. But Discord's your best bet. And Nicky. That's me.
And where can we find you, Elloa?
You can find me on many places. On Twitter, YouTube, Twitch TV, and Instagram at Elloa Wendy. Yay!
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, guys, for following us. Take care of yourself, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.